data get NEF will then establish post board of directors and then fund the but I think the important issue around this is point I raise maybe possible satellite offices. Mona ke mane mo hona le proposal ya accessibility ya fund hore iskaba ntoro in national fela money and then our people do not have access to it. That is a concrete proposal hore NEF must be strengthened so that it is able everybody or now okay in the country or access fund apply. That is a concrete proposal which will take. The data also speaks about the subcontractors and then they will forever be dominated by main contractors. I think Fundian has what we need to do to raise a proposal. Construction, amongst others, must be one of those productive sectors. Highly one of the productive sectors. Once processing review CIDB Act, CIDB level 80, volume 80. We empower our own construction companies to rise or let's on CBCDB level voice. So it's a concrete proposal construction ma. Ha ke no khona ho respond tse relating le Department of Human Settlements. Maybe MEC ha na le bokgoni tla respond ho tsona. Menhlapo also ubuaka the encroachment of large retailers ShopRite into the townships and to what extent can we regulate. I know that point is not necessarily relevant to the fund itself, IMPA. I think it's a challenge to the local and the district municipality because municipalities in terms of the law, banally right, it's the quotas in terms of kemang operating kai and then kemang operating in. So it is the duty of the municipality to demarcate their areas. Big companies don't actually defeat the disadvantaged local companies. Another important aspect that we raised, the issue of foreign nationals. We were clear in our discussion with NEF. We must make sure foreign nationals do not actually benefit from the fund, and they've actually said no, as they are not part of the people who benefit. And that bit Mutepu, we apologize profusely. Recognize African Farmers Association of South Africa, AFASA, as one of those chambers because the regulatory chambers stating. But we really appreciate the inputs, and we also to say agro processing is one of the productive sectors. So it is there, it is highlighted, it is prioritized. The issue of the bylaws, that Mutepu is correct because if strengthen the bylaws, enforcement of the bylaws, Department of Cocta to ensure there are standard bylaws that are in line with development. That Deputy Mutepu Ubuaga and another important aspect ya capacity. Now, but administer this particular fund. Do they really understand the vision of those municipalities? Do they have the technical know-how? Agro processing master plan that is one of the aspects that the raising as a department to the NEF. For those people who will be administering must have the capacity to assist our people. Clueless. Issue at stock failure, that Mutepu is there in our document as a department, and we are getting traction because we appreciate the stock fails are an important player in the financial sector of our economy. So they need to be incorporated as a department through Datesu Hularo, who is the director responsible for small business enterprise development. We'll have to have that discussion around stock fails in Zalo. That Mutepu more action and less theory, and I think that is what we need to emphasize. I think that is where we need to emphasize issue intergovernmental relations, and we agree with that. And that they follow the issue of red tape. It is there in our presentation, so we really appreciate that in point because re ka tla ka di-fund tsena kaofela, but as long as ho na le red tape tsena ha re no kgona ho fumana development, because ho tlo nka 5 years hore ho be le development, and that in itself it discourages development. We appreciate that point, and ke input e re isang. So ne se ke hlalositse ena ya hore fund ha e hlahe DESTEA. I'm not sure if any of my colleagues want to add, or should I take the next round? Okay. Menyameka.
Thank you, Ntate Mogele. I think ne ke batla ho address the issue ya hore it's a 5-year fund, and that funds will be available. Apologies. That funds will be available for 5 years only. Funds will not be available for 5 years only. We are going to mobilize 100 billion. So from government, from private sector, to put into this transformation fund pot as a start for 5 years. But after 5 years, fund itlo ema, stop, stop. Rekalaka 5 years to get as much money as we can so that we can deploy the money into the market, to start there. And Anka Kopa, I don't know if I'm allowed through you, facilitator, Anka Kopa, the details, ta aus Pumzile, Tlapo, Linda Demutebu, wa Afasa, li Abuti, wa Sonti Fresh, to address some of the critical issues and challenges that they've been facing. One of the things that we've brought through my colleague Simpiwe Kaniki here, what we also want to say to the public, though we are presenting the transformation fund concept, it's not to say there are still funds that are available as we speak in institutions such as the National Empowerment Fund, and programs for some of the challenges that you've outlined. For example, Lebuaka mentorship and aftercare support. So through the programs that we have at the National Empowerment Fund, we do provide mentorship. We also have a program where we train entrepreneurs on an annual basis. It's called our entrepreneurship training program. So I would like to encourage you to please take the details and the information that we brought and to please look through it. Where do you fit in? As we are trying to move this training transformation fund, there are still opportunities that are available now for funding for some of the businesses that you are currently running, and some of the challenges that you are experiencing in trying to mobilize these new businesses that you are starting or accessing some of the opportunities that you are talking about. That they followed, isn't that they followed, no, apologies, Motepu for Afasa. We have a very good program for agriculture and aggregation and access to markets, where we've looked at the master plan that you are talking about, and we'd like to talk to you about that in a bit more detail, and the fund that we are looking at through Agri-BE, which I'm sure you are aware of, to see how we can work together. Thank you, facilitator. Ngicela ukunika necolleague yami uMlu chance.
MEC, Mama from the office of the mayor, and colleagues from the department, and greeting to all of you. My name is Mlungisi Mkhize from the NEF. I'm with Nyameka and Kaniti, our colleagues. Just also to add on some of the few concerns that have been raised by colleagues regarding this animal transformation fund. I think I'm glad MEC is here. the fundamental questions that are being raised through this fund is that the intention by the department or by government is to respond to the issues of transformation agenda. So when we look at the history, why BE failed, or why it seems BE has failed over 20 odd years from 2003 until now, it has been there, but the issue is we know that it has not been capacitated in terms of the financial muscle. And it has been okay for many years that we speak of BEE, but it does not respond to the issues of black people. So the Transformation Fund, therefore, is designed to respond to these issues. But now the fundamental question around that, as people who are raising concerns, who's going to manage it, and issues of corruption. Through you, Chair, just a brief history on how Pioneer Food, that we know today as a JSE listed company, it started as a SASCO cooperative, funded by white government by then. It grew until it became a JSE listed company. It was part of the government empowerment initiative by then. Now, if we understand transformation agenda, we have to be robust and not apologetic by investing resources required to ensure that, after all, we have to move our people from ground to higher levels. So this fund, it's intended to drive a national agenda through ESD. Maybe my colleague, because her mandate was to deal with Transformation Fund, but she actually, I'm sorry, I will do that, she is responsible for a unit at the NEF that runs the ESD and that part fund. Coming back to your question, Sisi, the ShopRite and so on. So part of the agenda of the NEF, we are running a ESD fund by mobilizing funds from private sector and public sector. And we have this pool of funds where we have a dedicated constituencies, dedicated funds to provide these facilities to specific constituents. For example, if we have partnership with Department of Economic Development at Free State, so that fund is dedicated for Free State people. So the client who give us those funds, they dictate who must benefit in those funds. And for goodness sake, we have partnership with the Department of Economic Development in the province. We're already doing that, and we wish we can grow that so that you understand the purpose, the bigger agenda of the Transformation Fund. We're already doing with a number of provinces. But now, because we are seeing that the pool is too small, and we wish we can contribute better in that. So what I'm trying to say is that also MEC, through you, there's an opportunity now that we revive the DDM model. I think the issues of how people from the district level can participate at the higher level of this fund, it's how we can then strengthen the DDM model, that it is responsive to the issues from the ground to a higher level, because it's all about influencing the policy and operations of this fund. And we appreciate that by all means. But I think we understand that even the issues at the local municipality levels, it contributes to a negative perception, that the question of accessibility, yes, we take note of that, but also the issues of what you call disintegration of services. We are mindful of that, and the sector focus is the key, which sector focus or expertise in the fund. We are also taking note of that. It will be part of our lessons that will beef up the concept. So we really appreciate, and through you, MEC, we wish we can maybe grow the partnership, and maybe it will be a side talk. And apologies, I'm doing it outside the mandate of my colleague, because we feel that we can do more in the province also to address some of these other issues, especially on the Catalyst project that we can really look beyond this transformation fund. I think with or without transformation fund, we can do better with the province, because we are already doing that with Northern Cape Province, Limpopo Province, where we have a collective fund for the province, where the MEC himself can pick up the call to our CEO, Abu's Wuti, why so and so is not funded, because it's a provincial government money. So I think that mandate for us, it keeps us on our toes, because it's people's money. It's not like a generic funds that is all over the show. So it's an appeal that maybe let's look at that, but also appreciating the effort made to contribute to the concept. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next round of engagements before the MEC makes his remarks. There was a hand at the back. There's a hand. Sekibadile 4 ka mona tla ba 5 6 7 8 9. Ten. In that order.
Re dumedise ka lebitso le leholo la Jesu Kriste, Modimo inotsi. Go betsong ko lefatsheng gore ke moleng ya dumelang hena ha no timela empa ka ba le bophelo sa feleng. Ke a dumedisa ntate MEC Makume le lebotho la hao le baeti bohle le ba tswang dibakeng tse fapaneng tse invite-ilweng mona bakeng sa monyetla o fumantsheng hore re tla re bana le tse pedi tse tharo tse re ka di hlakisang. Ntate Makume, nna ke Lawrence Thabo Mofokeng lefatsheng la Paris Tumahole. Ke ntse ke tshwere mane papa mane ka Ololis Chisanyama and Butchery. Ke restaurant e kgolo ka ga Tumahole. Le kitchen ya ka e feta ya Wimpy kgolo haholo. Empa fela mohlomong Ntate Makume ya o tseba. Ka ga Tumahole ka mona ha ona restaurant ke nna fela. E mona at the right location, man, next to you safe. Halefita mona le ya kamane ka bo sports center o feta ho nna mona o go feta ntate o tlola kofi. Ntate Makume ke la ka fanduwa ke DESTEA mme ka bonyane bo le ba mfile bona ke la ka etsa ntho tse kgolo moo empa ba mfumane ke rekile building ba mfumane ke rekile finishera hona le dintho tse ngata tse ne ke di rekile mare ke le wa holo ka tshehetso ya lefapha ka bonyane bo jwale ke na le fela hlahiso hore lefapha le leke hore di business tse le teng ka hara location ha holo holo ene ya ka e kgolo haholo ntate e tshwantse o fumane funding e tla mfitisa. Ntate Makume ke tla o balla hore ke na le car wash, ke na le Chisanyama restaurant ke butchara fruit and veg liane ya Nteremane jwale ke le yona na le license ya yona. Jwale ntho ke batla go itsitsa go hore ke nnete lefapha le mfile ba ke haella ntate man ba hulelo mono man pula ya kena rena le bothata ba metsi jwalo ka electricity mothata ba metsi application la rona rena le bothata hape ba electricity ke na le di fridge tse ngata re hloka tshehetso re thole electricity ene jwale ha re fitla ka mona ka busha re ntate ke ka ho ka ke kopa hore ke kopa tshehetso hona le nthonyana tse pedi tse tharo tse ne se re di entse tse tshwanang le di spice marinade le di sausage tse tlabang tsa rona re phatheile di shabo center le re kopa tshehetso ya hore ha re ka thusiwa hore toro ena ya rona e tswele pele re ka ya holenyana hobane dintho tse ke di hlalositseng tse re nang le tsona ha business ena e ka rana smooth kaofela ka nnete ke a tshepisa hore le job creation e tla ba teng batho ba tla thuseha hobane ke dinthonyana tse ngata Ya ho qetela ntate ene ke itshufela man a relevant platform ya hore motho o tsebahale e se nna fela di business tse ding tse leng teng a ke tsebe di social media kapo eng fela e department e ka etsa hore motho o tsebahale like the tourist must know hore che ba ska fella ka mane ka toropong bo jini je ka se bo ka ba ka steng ka lekeishene mo ka ba fitla ba jama la mohodu dihlakwana nama ya hlo e le ntho tse ke phelang ka tsona haholo ke leboha haholo ntate wa ka ke ne ke re fela ke ikatametse ka ntle le ke ya hore DESTEA ila thusetsa pa ha o ka fihla mane ntate o ka iponela ka mahlo a hao hore generator marulelo ona le maemo a mabedi a mararo a ileng hore ke tshwanetse ke kopa ho thusiwa ka ona ke a leboha.
Ke lebohela monyetla ona ke a leboha batswadi ke dumedisa ntate Makume ke dumedisa kaofela mafapha a tlileng ka sebakeng sena. Nna ke Thuso Leponyane ke tswa company e bitswang Thuso TSL Sandstone re sebetsa ka di tombstone mona Sasolburg. Ke lebohela monyetla ona o mmuso o re fang ona empa re na le bothata bo le bong be leng hore di company tsa rona re le bangata ke a tshepa ka mona di batla ho i-developa ka botsona hore mmuso ha o fihla le ona o fihlele re le leveleng e itseng empa challenge e re nang le yona ke challenge ya dibaka. Masepala wa rona o re sokodisa ka dibaka and di funding tse ngata tse leng hore di a tswa governmenteng di requirement ya pele e batluwang ke ya hore re tlamehile re be le lease agreement kapo le proof of resident hore company e sebetsa kae. Dintho tse ka reng tseo already funding ena ha etla le yona e tlo batla ntho tse kang tseo re tlo faila di company tsa rona because ha re fumane di lease agreement ho tswa masepaleng. Jwale re ya kopa ntate Makume o ko bue le metsi maholo Fezile Dabi ba lokise di lease agreement because mo re sebeletsang teng ha re kgone lo etsa development ha re kgone ho fumana service delivery ko re ntho engwe le engwe re etsa fela ka thata mara ha ba ka re fa di lease agreement ra kgona ho fumana bo metsi metlakase at least le lona mohlang le re tjhakelang le tla fumana company tsa rona di na le seritinyana se itseng le lona le tsebe ho kgothala hore ha le kenya matlotlo ka ro di company tsa rona re fihlelletse boemong bo itseng. Ke a leboha.
Ke a dumedisa ke lebohela platform. Lebitso la ka ke Dieketseng Letsheko ke member ya MBBC and I'm an aspiring businesswoman mo Zamdema. I'm going to speak on behalf of a number of people, not myself alone. We appreciate the platform to be involved in the strategic planning of how the funds should be distributed. We also acknowledge the intent to undertake this huge movement of economic development and perhaps innovative transformation for the benefit of our province and municipalities. We ask to be involved in final decisions that would have been made prior to implementation or the initiation of the project. We also ask for the newsletters as a form of update on what actions have been taken, plans in place, as well as challenges encountered during the process. This is due to the disability of our own municipality, which is Mitsimaholo, on involving the community in the processes. We recently learned that our own municipality has failed to an assessment by the Human Rights Commission, and one of the findings made was that they do not involve the community in their plans and processes. And the biggest suggestion, actually the first suggestion of which was to include our community in their development plans and processes. It will also be highly appreciated if the statistics of the businesses that have been developed or perhaps been successfully funded be made accessible to the community via either those newsletters as well as on the website. Unfortunately, ke le ka tlameha ke hore ke ngole note ye ya ka enana because ne ke se batle hore ke ipone ke itumatuma maleme. So, ke na le message from my president at MBBC, which is Mitimaholo Black Business Chamber. Unfortunately, she couldn't come, but then she has a cry, and the cry is, the meetings don't help us with anything. It is just a tick for you guys, but then sometimes the program is so officialize or formalize and then you do not implement it. That is why all my ideas, all my suggestions, so I appreciate anything that can come in response to that.
Dumela motsamaiso wa mosebetsi MEC le bohle ba potapotileng. Now I think what is critical ke o lebitso la ka ke Bafana Thwane, chairperson ya MSF Metsimaholo Stakeholders Forum. No, executive chair, not the chairperson, executive chair, to be precise. Yeah, I think the board or committee ought to be subjected to lifestyle audit to prevent abuse of the fund and patronage. Because under DTIC, we know what is happening, but only executive Lotari. They abuse that funds for patronage and proximity and for their own benefits, not our people. That's why we suggest that lifestyle audit must be they must agree to be subjected to it. I don't know idea and I want that excluded, especially African male. In everything that government does to these days, women, youth, what about those who passed year 35 without intervention of government in their life? Now my appeal that can you give us a concrete evidence or what facts that came before US government to take that decision? NEF, I know that you always want, and it puzzled my thinking, 3-year audited financial statement to qualify for a funding, NEF, and many things. We're talking about African people historically disadvantaged. How government thinks, what orientate government, if you can think like that? You are talking to people who are privileged. When you say audited financial statement, you are talking about those who are privileged. You keep the status quo, but you talk about transformation. In a department that's in silos. Here in the Free State, MEC Magu, your executive council, you have a tender, you must use the state to transform society, economy, and everything. But you have a tender that comes, I'm not sure that you study us first, our communities, where we stand, and attitude of transformation, because you have a tender in the Department of Public Works that want people to provide them with building material. And they are very clear, the wholesalers, distributors, and all of that is white people. What was the thinking of that department when they developed these tenders? Because once you state procurement to transform society and economy, it's good that you have a funding, but you must have align your funding with transformative programs. Deliberate on our issues. The last one I think that we must also put here in our township or municipality, we know this white collared business of logistics. And we wage meaningful fight in Sasolburg, but we can't transform that thing. But we need the state intervention to help us to transform logistics here in our township so that our people can benefit. And I'm appealing to government that use the power of the state to transform society. From far, I can tell you that our government is apologetic. I don't know which one must not be apologetic. But from far, we are very apologetic when it comes to issues of transformation. Ought to be deliberate. Thanks.
Okay. Ke a leboha motsamaisi wa tshebeletso le batho ba entseng presentation e ntle haholo. And nna tse tlo di buang, dintlha tse tlo di buang is just to give a sorry. Oh, lebitso ke Bongale Madonna from company XIB Fuels. Okay. I just want to give a compliment towards the initiative. I went through the document. It's a good initiative, and I think the government. It's good when it comes to planning and coming with initiatives, but the implementation part, yona problema ho le re kopana le yona le SMMEs. And in Tongwape, this document yona ke acceleration ya the black businesses, which I think is important because kantate Kabazela we coming from a background whereby this thing is new to us as black people, whereby we are not used to being included in the economy of the country. So transformation and unapologetic, time implement too. And it's been years, but for an example, if acceleration, some of the things, some of the businesses are funding. Access to market. An example, Sasolburg, industrial places. One of the national key points, which is key company to hold. Government is a power na linyo na the implement or batho ba bona ke banana sa so le thusetsa jwang re be part ya productivity ya bona ke ntho re hlokang ba bona ha ka hloke ntho tsenga. And I think if we can study the district ra tsama di district check ona district e itseng e hloka thuso e feng haholo ba bang ba bona district nye re le metsi maholo re nka ikemela fela ka di industrial places tse teng mona. So in the meantime re metse the parks tau ra implemented this initiative. In the meantime, can we fight this industrial places that we have? And unapologetic, go a transformation, bonahala, and the one that the Makume because we are one of the Makume Salufita only movement sala. And coming to NEF, you are criteria when Nakavazela. And the plan for in the but the criteria is difficult. It's difficult. So, go learn a level one and a level two sets of wrong way on a yellow.
You do medicine. I want to give you company from Sasolburg. Mongadi Mosaka village ngata. Mara kinale butata boboholo ka batho ba batsho ba rona. Batho ba rona ba batsho minute ba utlwa lentswe funding. Re dula re tla re tatile be re tlo kwala dikelello re fitla ka ga di meeting re tlo dula ka ga di meeting re tshepile hona le eng. But how do we access those funds as people? Our problem is one. We'll have a gathering like this. Re jwetse ke 100 billion ke eng. Draft our proposals. Are they declined or approved? Now, I'm pleading to you, the MEC, to say that can we have another gathering like this after our nationally approved transformation alone to teach our people on how to access these funds? Because but no one will say, in another gathering like this. Thank you.
Kgotso, ha ke lebohe ka lebitso ke Mangwape Selatole ke moago wa mona Sasolburg. Ha ke dumedise baetapele ba ka mo kaofela a bona mmogo le letona la province. Ke a leboga, ke dumedise gape le bomakgwebo le borakgwebo. Ke dumedise batswadi. Batswadi, nna ke tlo tswa Lekwete hanyanyana fela, but a re senye re aga motse. Batswadi, re na le bothata ka moiterae ka mola ka project. So ke tiseletsa hanyanyana mantswe wa Ntate Tatse. So ke nahana Ntate Makume o tla e araba mongaka gobane o itse wena o ka se kgone e araba. So re na le bothata batswadi ka this project ka mola moiterae ke TCT. So go na le company tse le di na le 3 months di sebetsa. Ha di na contract, ha di na project value, ha di na di rate. So under TCT contract tsa local mo tse le hore tlamehile di thole hore di kgone ho upgrade di level tse itseng. So a se jwale re bua le bona batswadi. So a ke tsebe hore ba kenya setjhaba sa ka mane 23 ka moiterae ka tlasa pese kapo ba kenya Ntate Makume ka tlasa pese. So a ke bone project e tlo fela batswadi. So ne ke kopa letona ke leme ka maoto le kene dipakeng ka tlasa ntho e etsahalang ka mane. So ntho ya pele gona jwale ha hona mo re tsamayang ka moiterae ka moo. Dikoloi ha di kgone ho tsamaya, ha re kgone ho tsamaya le rona. Ke metsi all over mo. But ho na le 30% e le hore project ha di ba teng e tlamehile be teng e thusetse setjhabeng. But ke mathata fela ka moo bana beso. Ho na le di-contract tse le hore ba sebetsa bekeng ba sebetsa high 1 ka beke. Batho ba tlo kgola eng ba godise batho eng. So re lekile ho bua le bona batho ba ranang this project ba re undermine batswadi. Wala ke tseo re tlo qetella re etsa jwang re le setjhaba. Ho sa Ntate Makume o tla bo romme batho ka mane ba tla ba bua le wena ka teng, o buang le wena ka teng, because ha hona ntho e etsahalang ka moo. So ke la ka le batswadi fela mo, thank you.
A ke dumedise baetapele kaofela ba leng mo ka masepaleng MEC re lebohile haholo ha o le teng. Nka o tshepisa hore mesebetsi ya hao re a e bona, re o shebile wena ka no ba sa re bone, but re o shebile and re thabetse hore ngwana lapeng mo, re thabela hore ngwana lapeng mo, and then o tla utlwa ile wa tseba hore re lla ka eng. Borakgwebo kaofela baetapele kaofela ke kopa ke lebohe draft mme a very good presentation, well done. Oh, you ask is Kelewame, thank you so much. Kikoloko Thomas Maepa. It's a company ebitsang Lesma Investment. Ki member wa MBBC Kazamdela Kamo. I'm one of the council members. Lesma Investment in Thailand di tonyana tse ngata ke ska di hlalosa, but ke company e leng matsohong aka. Ke ne ke santse ke leboha presentation ya hao, well done, and re thabetse re tla bona re etsa jwang. Ha ke kena haholo mo sector ya retail, ke mo ke dominatang haholo, ke nngwe ya di sector tse ke di thabelang haholo, ke na le history ka tsona. Di funding di teng, di funding di atla di tsamaye, di khutle, di tle, di tsamaye. Batho ba bo rona ha ba tswele pele. Ba di thola, ba bang ha ba di thole, empa ha hona progress. Now, ka 2020, ki batla fela go fa example ya hore why ke re ha hona progress. Salo ha bana le funding ya COVID, ha ke sa tseba ne bitswa eng. Ho fundiwa di tuck shop, ho fundiwa di street vendors, and then hona le ba di thotse, hona le ba sa di tholang. One thing I discovered since then, ko hore government ya rona kapo di masepala tsa rona la ha ba ka fana ka tjhelete, hona le ntlha e ba sa e hlokomeleng, training and development. How to say next o mfa tjhelete o sa mpontshe ke sebedise jwang. Now I've tested that during those years tsa COVID. Re groupile batho ba di tuck shop, many of them, some they're still operating even now, some backwards. But what's in the funding during that time, that program, some of others. We group people, we train them from costing and pricing, from a scalar cabbage or a higher half price thing we were wrong, so that they can be able to compete. We went back. Hona le ba ile le hana no ntse ba eme ba operator ka mo itry ka mo ba funyana ba trainweng ke rona hona ka locationeng ka mo, they are there, they're still existing, but problem go hore masepala kapo government ha re thuse hore re tsweletse pele di training tse ra kopa fela hore ba re thuse, especially ho tswetsa pele di training, batho ba understand before tjhelete e tswa. Ha o bane le mentorship, ho bane le a training ya hore tjhelete e ilo sebetsa jwang, e ilo etsa eng, hore o etse profit o sontse o etse jwang. Ke point ya ka ya pele. Then number 2, haebe access to market, very important, access to market. Some of businesses are not funding, they just need access to market. Now, Eriko for an example, only this concept ya network marketing, MLM. People banahana maybe network marketing ki ko tshwara beke o kena house to house go ke a rekisa and all that. No. Rena di space tse ngata mo sala ka kenya proposal hore masepala re fe space or a piece of land. We jaratele ibanele gate, rete a flea market whereby at least once a month we group all retail people, but all rekisa the product but all exhibit the product at least once a month run the flea market. Why I'm saying this? When the flea market thing I take it personally, and how fitla bo Gauteng Northwest, how fitla mo otala batho ba Sasolburg ba tlo rekisa. You'll be shocked how fitla Northwest otala motho wa Zamdela mo ulo rekisa Northwest. Why people must struggle or suffer like that? Balatele market kwa hole kwa impa ba le hona le lente ngata mo Zamdela. Ha etse next, but how go bolelwa hore no, it belongs to this, do that, and how na progress. It's very important. Economy are not whole. And then the last one, and it's a pain to me. I don't know to other people. But what the tuck shop really na go tele ka the tuck shop hore the foreigners have taken our economy through tuck shop. Now, Rabata the tuck shop is big. Here's my worry. Through the funding, your government, where are we going to buy our stock? Back to foreigners wholesales. Wa bona? And ne re sa e batle jwalo. Ha re batle jwalo. So here's my proposal. MEC. Re feng land, re ipulele wholesale, a township wholesale. Batho ba rona ha ba thola di-funding, ba tle ba tlo reka wholesaling ya bona. Then I'll be saying re own economy. Tjhelete e kgutlela ho rona. It rotates amongst ourselves. If we can do that, ki sure hore we've got our economy back. Because tjhelete ka hara di small businesses e ngata haholo, e ngata haholo. Rona le re regulator kore le tisa letsoho when it comes to regulations ha le tla ka le side la rona. Mme o ile point a bohlokwa mo. Rasafara when it comes to compliance. But other people, they just get into the country for free. They get everything for free. They take our money and go out and don't even invest in our economy. Rona sa rona go dula ntse re lla re tshwere di meeting, re toitoya, re etsa all these type of things, and then re shebuwe hore that is why they don't have a progress. But let's have on it the way le compliance. It's very important. It's very difficult. A go le losing hanyane le rona re kene le tlo bona hore entle ke bokgoni bo teng. It's just that ha le bule minyako e re batla re bulele re kene le tla bona hore bokgoni bo teng. Ke le buile haholo bana beso letsatsi le monate.
Chairperson. Kalibizwe ke Bongani Chavalala. I represent a company called Black Snaps Media. The company has been in operation for 7 years. I do photography and videography. But I'm gonna speak like somebody who does not own a business for one reason. It took me about 3 to 4 years to be able to get a grasp of systems that are required for me to be able to work with government. And that includes things like what do you call it, proof of residence. There are forms that you have to sign when you want to do business with government, the declaration forms. There's also things like CSD. There's other forms that require commissioners of oath and all of those things. It took me time for me to understand those things because I did them myself. But now as a business person, in my business, I'm asking government to make things easier for us. An integrated system that would be able to, even if I can just go onto the system once every 3 months, to update my tax clearance certificate if there's a need for me to do that, to update my proof of residence, to update this and that, my declaration forms, because 90% of us here hate doing all of that documentation because we are business people, we are running businesses. Some of the reasons why Resa here who asked Julian office is because I have to print this, I have to print that, while we have CSD that has everything on it. It says I'm compliant on tax, it says this and that, but I can't just submit that to say, here's my CSD, everything yaga compliant. I still have to bring all the other documentation. So my suggestion is, can we not have an integrated system where we can update all these things like maybe once or twice a year so that we don't have to deal with them every time we have to do applications with government. Thank you very much.
Let me, on behalf of the MEC, appreciate all those qualitative inputs. At this present moment, I am going to request that all those who did not have an opportunity to make inputs today, the MEC has instructed that processing the questionnaire or online process. There are links that we have provided there for different stakeholders. The window is open until Monday, number one. Number two, before the following colleagues leave here, you still have an opportunity to interact with them if you still have further questions. Number one, Menyameka Mapike from the NEF and the entire team will be here for direct questions. Ndate Mudisa Utsile Sihularo, who is the director responsible for enterprise support and development, DESTEA, Kimoni, Utsuile, Onanza Dutsimona, Men Nana Matlepe, Liamutseba, service manager, ya Fezile Dabi district from DESTEA, Kiana responsible for this district from DESTEA, Unza Aliti Hajwale, Ndate Tisetsumachele Kenna responsible for industrial development, Ndate Tefolikute Udusika Plaga, responsible for economic planning and LED. Kirale Mayor Mansotato from the district municipality of Fezile Dabi, and Ndate Mudisa Utsile Sihularo Kiena responsible for. Ndate Derek Hagen is responsible for this questionnaire. So if there are any strategic questions, what are choose? So with those words, I'm going to request that we allow the MEC an opportunity to make his remarks. MEC Toto Makume, Bueles Chavasa.
Let me thank the program director and greetings to all who are here, particularly our colleagues from National Empowerment Fund representatives, colleagues from the departments and the office, colleagues from District Yafezile Dabi, and colleagues from Metsimaholo and everyone who's present here. I'm not sure where to start because I was beginning to be confused. Now, I was not even sure I will be afforded this platform because the purpose we call this was to discuss the concept of the transformation fund. That was the purpose. Look at that concept. Is it workable? Is it doable? What are its objectives? Can we add on the objectives? Are they enough? They are proposing vehicles. Are we happy about the vehicles? NEF again selling about to close like you. You are NEF. How are you You are quiet. You don't even ask. But why government is not looking at other vehicles? Why NEF? You don't ask those questions. But now, I understood. There are two things that we are observing here. So we're not observing. There's so much negativity. No, there's an issue of mistrust. But so you can put everything here. Anything that you put there, hey, we want to do this. So we want action. So the document, is actually signaling to that action. There are this BEE, what, I can name all of them. They are not being supported. I want to tell you. How ya Sasolburg mo ba batla tšhelete o kene o etse business le bona how ya banking sometimes you don't even get to be funded only because of your color of the skin. That is why this concept document is intentional. It says we are going to help black entrepreneurs. It's clear. I don't say or what it's clear black entrepreneurs. So it's Indians, it's Africans, it's colors. So you are all there, so it's blacks. So this is what the document is trying to address. But let me maybe join it in Ataluna Pimpili, Ulukisa Fela Mohupulo Fela Lord, Ritusani, Tedinka Hantle are positive critics. Yapili, Kesha is doing Kibab Yauri. At times, the people they don't want anything from us. Just the presence and the police. Say, on Sasol procurement for Batwala P. Sasol is Antotengata. I always tell Baturi, Kekimakal Batawanga, Lea Haute, Lovatam says, Hauta Unakina, Kisasol, Hautero. For Bawa Satibing, this area already discovered First, we discover coal. After coal, we want to now process one to the then we want to call our into the jungle of the compound. More it's one thing, the Montate, I mean, Halele Protem, and the compound. Montate Bassets are more famous Badula Moon. So, unlike other towns, more about what claim bill than Mississippi at Camera, Mona who claims Sevits bill. So, Sasol also much than you can even think. Sasol in its nature, is pollute. I don't stop until I stop a business and we're talking about losing service. But Sasol has the responsibility of patala pollution batum babulu. So, Babi is saying, government, come to the fort, be with us. If Riamach Harleba Aiba Sasol, MEC Rikero Tamakapilo, the forum Mutena Tamona Tingan. He's saying how to go to a meeting Mona Maponesam. Hey, the forum Mudia Marcha, so we must not have a meeting here because the forum Mudia Marcha. No, we must join those forums to ensure Sasol pay their responsibility to the parents or to the community. So I take it as a simple, constructive, positive criticism. Something that all what we're asking that just to be there at times. If you are not there, your people let them be there. I mean, that's the example thing at the Nagasasol. You know, I get there was a year Sasolomo in gardening. But gardening I think it fell how to work as Amdela of Katopo. The middle mona Tatila taken and little they were those gardening. And they were assigned to different companies and different shops. Now pick and pay, but gardening so buy rabat, but buy Shokomelantu. There was nothing in it like Arazam there. In Sasol, only the CCTV that then different man in the bante. Bawang at the bante. CCTV, Shokomela or the color, the movement traffic, it's a Sasol, the Kentucky Sasol affair. Nothing in Zamde. In Sasol, Lenali, the track, I tell you, every day, not even a single one. Yabanaba Mona Zamde. Elka is super common on a ladder. But tracker in at least Kiamam So all what these guys are saying that can the government help us to do those things? There are also other things which are in the chelu vein, Sasol, but they are not at the core business, Sasol. Sasol and gardening, just gardening inside, in a little tech shop. But I'm saying at Sasol, just Nanta also book a production. Yet they are not being occupied or maybe run by Batwamona Lapi, Sasolo Kapanitimao. So these are the challenges that they are looking at us, me and you. We must try and do something about them. So it's not only Sasol, it's all other industries around. They talk about the national key point here, NATREF, Omnia. So you've got all these other things. So there are areas which we must target to say, in this one, that Omnia, Ronabatu agriculture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is what we can do. And work on those things. So it's something that we took it as a critical and positive. The second one, Rona problem lapemona renana or arna buying power. Yet the battle blame man. Ndata can never catelen meet and I buare. Utawana what was solo by lady flea marketing. Balorikis. But naturally, like one of what was solo by lady flea marketing balorek. So they don't feel mona ukarekamon and but also solo gata hauti. Blind, okay? Thank you. How? So like we talk about Blomfantino, how long to we win mona before it was that mentality. We are not in Gauteng, we don't belong there. We belong in the Free State, just an area closer to Gauteng, which makes it to be advantageous for us. So like we talk about Councillor Ramona, or to Lambu, Lona like at high two government, like a nationalist rate. But you can always go to the province, but nationally, there's nothing that prohibits any municipality to approach national minister or Rekopa 1, 2, 3 assistance. Councillor Ward 19, Ulam Mamela, I have straight go ESCOM, I have straight go national minister of electricity. When he was supposed to be given the high mast, I look up and the high mast and what? ESCOM approve everything. No, it must happen the whole of Metimol. No, that's nonsense. We took any effort. As a ward council, it's supposed to be done to you. And then other councillors, this thing is doable, so that it can happen to all these other areas. So where I'm coming from is, let us protect our buying power. the way ba bonang re dibari ka teng. If ba teng ba tla ntshwarela mara ba tseba rona ba go ga ba sheba ba bona dibari di tšhelete. Here it's Valmont. I'm not sure of you, how many of you have noticed story before okena ka the old entrance ya Valmont ba butsi gate ya lona batho ba Free State ba letse le robot special go le eme mo le kene le reke le tswe le tsamaye Gauteng ya bona ha ba sa le batla ka nqane ka Gauteng didi ba le batla ka mona ka mora. I'm not sure how many you have noticed that. Ase taba ya traffic ko hore traffic e ngata mare ya tšhelete e tlang ka Valmont ke ka ho roboto eo e ya indicate le before e bula ditsela tse yang Gauteng e ya indicate pele go le kene ka Valmont. So there's an indication that through indicate go ba kene ka Valmont ba kena mo ba reka batho mo. You will open everything here it tlo because re ithatela Gauteng. So the first thing is to begin to be conscious about who we are and what we want to do. You want a mall? Yes. Are we going to buy in that mall? It's in passage mall. There's a passage mo ya ShopRite ka back into. That thing is wrong. So you want a mall. Many people have made a proposal. No, Tio Monotomona, a mall. I know these proposals before the councillor we have been putting this thing to the fore. Fear buying power ya rona re batla spend somewhere. I'm not sure let's ba di tavern tsa mo tsene di tumetse hantle. Di duwe ko re batla ya ha AC bophelo. Re batla ya Vilakazi Soweto. Vance a go bue nnete. La o ka no mo tloa ka 9 comrade Thula. Nna ne ke inwella jwala ntse ke hula. Ha o ka no tloa ka 9 ka 5 una le ntho o hlohlontshang o start koloi o ye Gauteng. I don't know what is it. So na ne tavern tsa mo di tla hola ha di no hola. Nduna is like you want to pay like a gym. Nduna is so fortunate, but his business was supposed to have long died. Di kereke, but wa ba tshabuka yo mogutwa mo re ga mona tjwa. And le in koleke ha wa tswa ha ngata ka o lebetse go patetse petrol o tloa mona o ya mo. Skambani di company di rekwa bophilong di rekwa Sebokeng. Batho ba mo ba ka o ditsa gore Skambani sa Sebokeng sa bophilong se monate yana. Skambani aba o ditsa gore se cheap wa tsa se cheap ka eng sa mona o thole setsa 15 rand sa bophilong setsa 12 rand but you pay petrol go ya mo so it's more expensive go feta go etsa ntho yana o shebile fela the buying a product at that time. So we've got the buying power but resident tsa mona so that's what we must protect. But first, who are we and where do we belong? If we can attend to those things when we're done with a lot of things. Now I want to come back to the contribution ya pele et leng ka ntate Tats. Ntate Tats, who nkile 350 years to be exploited, oppressed, and do everything. Wasn't our intention now this country? We're only in 30 years, which I appreciate. You are right. We're supposed to have done much, but we have done more. We have not done much. There have been some of the obstacles, I think. One of them is corruption. We don't need to mince about the bush. I think corruption added to the slow. But ne re opela matso corruption mona in the Free State. Motho na ema mona ba wena le wena tsamang le hiriwe ke hlasela ntweng. Belopa matso in these meetings. So we participated. Rona, when we stood up to say, but this is not how you run government. You have to have a different kind of running government. We forget all those things. Many people, capable comrades, capable people, people with pedigree, both academia and political, they were removed in positions of power because they did not agree to some of the practices that were government. Government ya want to ngoloring in tsafela chelete. Hai chelete hai sebeletse batho. But how not the meeting, we all clap hands. How to koloi into rope matso. Kolo the same car, how to itwe rope matso steam. So that's how we participated. I tell them everywhere, Bloemfontein, everywhere, I say, Free State, we participated. We make this thing to be possible. So we are the one to be blamed through now. So we need to fix that one. But the second thing, don't undermine the legacy of the apartheid. And don't think after 1994, apartheid, they go somewhere and say, no, we are relaxing. No, they still make things to be difficult for all of us. You go to a bank, as a director in a particular company, with a white person, or Derek, get inside the bank, make an application. I'm telling you, they will find something to reject your application, but find anything and everything to approve. Yeah, Jack. You know why? Because of the color of the skin. That is why other areas were still declared already red flag areas. Which were those areas? Townships. So that is why the concept document say we must address the townships. This thing is also about imbalancing or to redress the imbalances of the past. So it's not an apartheid reverse. I told white people in their DA meeting, because they invited me, I told them in Bloemfontein, it is not apartheid in reverse. You are lying. We are redressing the imbalance of the past with this thing. You must know why we are coming here. It is because Bona, they are just waiting for one thing. Just one thing. They are taking it to court, this thing. Like many other documents. The triple B and it's court to like this. So many things. Site, set aside. It's in court. Set aside is in court. And so everything we do, don't think of those people have just, you know what, hey, South Africa, okay. No. They still want to see themselves running this country. But this time with us in government, being the stooges, not unable to do other things, but then ebe bona ba run the country. Because the easiest way to run the country is when you've got the economic power. And this is what this concept document is. The concept document, they've taken everything by checkout. We've tried everything. You know, willing buyer, willing sell. What? They've tried, but we are not going to win this thing. We just need money to support these things. I was telling about what Greg Yakaman or Lelona, but Crest, Lebatla Chelet, or Hasai Fanchid. Because Satan also is a Chelet, or Hasai Fanchid. So to counteract, you need man. So to correct all these things, we really need man. But how? That's the most important thing. So concept document says black people. We're clear on that one. So, and we're not going to be ashamed not to refer to history. We're always going to continue to do that. I agree. The project they are Moitrai. First, there were debates in government, obviously. Do we do it well? No. I can't say, Moitrai inquiry EFF. So obviously, when we discuss now political party view. So now I enter into a freer that discussion on humanitarian reasons. That first and foremost, those are the people who are living that side. Whether they belong in the EFF or I don't care, they must get the services. The Constitution guarantees them the services. You can't be giving white people services. But what you think but they are in the EFF. There could be a lot of reasons why they are there. Some they are not even there. It's people who just needed land. People wanted land. So what do? Give them services. So we put that project there. The first thing we agree was that let there be a community project steering committee. So that when there are these problems, people are able to come in the committee and say, we've got 1, 2, 3. They are able to raise it. We said the department must be represented, the local municipality must be represented, the companies and the subcontractors, they must also be represented. But of all the things what are represented, the community that side must be represented. That's what we said. So I'm shocked to project Ranakil Councillor, how? I don't know. But it shouldn't be. There has to be a collective that runs the project together with those things. It's wrong to accept. Sometimes no. You can't do that. So contract, contracting, contract. We have to contract to start with. So the first thing we must push is that our people must understand those things. And I'm happy NEF says they will come and do more Sasolburg, but what more? Mona, in the same hall or whatever. Little Jota to the application. So I hope as and when they apply later in, Highly selling marketing outside, be aware of 1, 2, 3. Don't just get into a business opportunity because una na utlo ba handle. But also sheba what are the things that you can do where you will need the support. I think it's important. So I'm saying to you and maybe the colleagues here, Oscar Tlaole mo tlole bana ba thusang hore ba fumane dithuso tse di, so that that meeting if fumana everything. But also ha re tla practically o bene le batho ba applyang tsatsi leo. Re station mona batho ba apply ba di askalla ka hore yo application alone le ga ba bintho e easy e tswa 1 2 3 mara nna tse ke lla ka yona NEF ya so goodise ha re na le story ha re na le business le lona bontate. Your office in Bloemfontein e bula like a ke tse mhlampula ene le wa bona khona pula ena. No. Really, we are going to take that matter up with the minister. Actually, in Kwakwa, colleagues will tell you, I said, I'm not going to support NEF to run this fund. I told Bafana, no, Bafana, you are quiet, NEF run into it. Little happen, hey, NEF, because you must be creative, but this one what we want. So, NEF has offices in Bloemfontein. Those offices are forever closed. No satellite. And you know what is the wiring factor here? Is that the guy who has been appointed, the new one who has been appointed, what Antatole, well in Africans, what's a man? Yes, what was Africans, what's a man? Let me thank him, but the real bonds fell a difference or la Europa with Gauteng. In Gauteng, you've got NEF national offices, where Gautengs can just go walk and make everything applied with them. Rona, ya gona e Bloemfontein kwa. Even if you maybe arrangement, okay, first let I be here, you can still come to national office because it's far. You know, it's very easy to go to those. That no, you no check it wherever to know Finian. Mona waya o khutle ka letsatsi a go ba la re Bloemfontein batho ba no tlamile ba lo apply for NEF. They must try and arrange for sleeping there. Because it's 350 Ks. It kills business people. It disempowered them. It does not empower them. And your name is National Empowerment Fund. So really, we must take that matter up. I suggested to Mshana, can't you just have satellite offices? Just one. Just operating every day, but once in a month or twice in a month, you are here. In Metimaholo or in Fezile. People who want to apply, they come. Those who have complaints, they come. But at least you are accessible, because the more important thing, this fund also talks about access. So the hitting point is you now. And that's the difference between cocktail and more relente no. Nekile cocktail human settlement at that time when we were doing this. Because your question was, will I be able to intervene on that side? I won't be able to intervene, but I will make the team aware of the project, the delays. We'll try and talk to them. The issue of fiber is the responsibility of the municipality and the Department of Communications. So what happens is that when you build a smart city, you involve everyone. So come on, like Shell Garage, we are building a multiple housing development. In a little townhouse, estate. In a little estate, in a little townhouse, in the tower, the flats, in the RDP. All what we are trying to do is to build an integrated community. More you get black and white, but also people who are affluent and those who are still struggling. So that is why these people, by communication, by can you also put a fiber once? So it must be a discussion. Ask these people to also put a fiber in Moitra. So it could be a discussion, but it must not be a train smash or differently. But the responsibility of all, must be. Now, I agree. These big shops, they must be told, particularly when they come to our communities. The problem is that checkers. Wow, checkers is coming. Because I can tell you, even la tech shop wow. But the moment o tuna shop right or eng o feel or no but ntho le di ngata nka gola to and you walk to the shop. So why bulaya this tech shop? So what we are suggesting to these guys was that, and I think NEF we have a fanaka dintho because ke a tsona mo fanaka blending fund. You must also help us. So, save more kapa eng ya mo. Let's look at the local shops that were the tech shops in particular, and negotiate on behalf of our people who are owning this thing to say, can we get the basic shelves? Basic shelves, like example, roto, tukiri, pufu. You don't need a lot of things, mamsho. O batla fela shelf ya ponds. It don't hold. But that shelf ya roto kapa. So that we get inside there and say, how uta mo shop right? Marburoto, uto buthola uto tech shop na.
Shai tupa kai bona ya tla today skan shapa haholo. Ne ke batla ho tjho hore actually we have a very good example etlaya hona mo go Free State iling BB cash and carry. If we can all look out for BB cash and carry, rishebe hore how well they are doing. Because as NEF, we are actually using model yona eya BB cash and carry to try and replicate in other provinces. As much as MEC had said, liqalile corruption or li supportile corruption, the positive here is that you started something great through BB cash and carry that shows that black people can do great things, particularly in these industries that are dominated by white people. BB cash and carry is supplying spaza shops and other retailers in the province. Thank you, MEC.
So all what we are saying is that when you bring a mall into the township, just be sensitive on other businesses around. When we try to bring a mega establishment, Plakwakwa, and then when I was listening to that presentation, they then said, we're also building accommodation. I asked them, what about these boys and girls, Badulang, Kometsaning, Kadi backroom? Have you entered into discussion with the owners of those backrooms? Because it's important. You can't just come and pitch up an accommodation and it kills business abattoir. So try to have these people also part their beneficiary. So that's what we are appealing to do. So I agree with you, Sis Pumzi. Usually satellite offices, I've already said it. Let me respond to this thing of foreign nationals, including all other questions that I take shop already. Foreign nationals, number one problem is government. Policies and implementation, that's number one. We also have number two, our people. And their balance. At times, they are like, because it's number one. Therefore, they go team on the list. Sometimes they are like, we don't have bylaws in many of municipalities to do what you have suggested here. Kwalandi tech shop, I was here. Many people came there. We closed shops. Literally, shops closed. Everyone agreeing, you can't do this thing. In one shop in Tatemachel, Rifumana Mutarixia Muriana, all Ufumanaka doctor's prescription. Go chemist, go to doctor Hana. Doctor Wojota, pharmacy, low toll. Marotola shop on countering, Ureka Felaso. So we closed those shops. Tola Twitter Archer Muka Kabish. Baki Archer, Bakina Kabish. So we closed a lot of shops, telling this are comply, nix. Babang, Avana di Pampira, I think there were 4 or 5 shops. Originally, I'm from here. High. So it was on a Friday. They thought I was leaving or going back to Bloemfontein. Karobala High. Saturday, all those shops were open. I went there, literally, I was here. Why is this shop open? Have these people now complied? On Friday, they can't. And then they close again. But people told me, Monday, they didn't happen. So that's government. That's problem of our government. So one into the start hand clinics. Number 2, it was not here. Was it Kwako? There was an area we took everything. That car never reached police station. That's government. Number 1 problem. And then, like literally they go and collect. Maponisa, health inspectors, consumer protection units, babangdi makanselara ga utlwa ke na bopaki ba ona e mara ke tseba tsena tse re seng una le batho ba tshwerweng. So tse ding tse le di allegations le rona di MEC le rona o tse kgolonyana le rona ntse re etsa jwang. So ke government. So ke number 1. Then number 2 ke rona the people. The people yona jwale ya nhlole. Okay re ke le hlalosetseng. Cause na le batho ba itseng government ha etse nix. I protect business tamona. But foreign nationals protected in mona na re batla compliance ka bona re batla compliance. Ke batla le fa for free karabo enana ke a tsaya ikusa batho bohloko. Compliance re tlo e batla. Compliance re tlo e batla gore ke country ya rona ena. We must comply. It can't be other people batla ka mhlolo wa bona ha ba comply. Ba etsa ntse ba di ratang country ya bona le rona be re ga ba join. It's not their country. They do these things because it is owner. The first thing that must really persuade us to do the right things, this is our country. So compliance is non-negotiable. There could be red tape in the compliance. And I agree with Bongan. One integrated system is okay. One integrated compliance system is okay. So we must work smart as people of this country, through government, through other entities. Man, high indicator money, double digging norms. Otle mona over 20 rand, oye mo over 20. Haba boni. How retlang? Una le motasa itola nix. Marona we those mona le mona. So it must also help us to do that thing. So compliance, we are going to want it. We are going to demand it. Our people must comply. We must face out Batwasa complying. So you should not worry about Batwasa complying. We must push about face out. One, circulate the bylaws. Second, honesty in work that we are doing. We must be honest. My police have honesty, health inspectors have honesty, my councillor have honest, everyone have honest. Chopin rights, your operator says, I equal. Then we did the problem. Compliance, we want it because you can't run a country a lawlessness. You can't. There has to be lawful practices for business alone to protect and integrity the business alone. So skela thabelang gore batho ba mba etsa ntho tse mpe, therefore le rona re tse ntho tse mpe. Mo country e seng ya bona. O tlamele re push ka ba ba etsa ntho tse go tlamele batho le gona re le clean. Ka ba ba etsa so ha ba tsamaye. So it becomes easy because we are doing so ha le di etsa ba but very fun this thing di etswa ke lona mosmo. So it's going to be something e re etsang. Ke ntse ke le batho. Number 2, in December, the president announced that there's going to be a window period of registration of all tech shops. They give us all the conditions. Go and talk to the people. Everyone must register because it looks like municipality, they don't have those things. District, they don't have those things. So let's have these people register. Our people, buy mole. Home affair, more register content business, but I'm all my friend. I'm married to my friend. Came and sending me I see. So, la nyala na how to be sending me I mean, you saw it, just booking it was clear because if booking it, social media. where a person a kgutliswa ke motho, but you can't do this about our country. So this thing was aimed at protecting you. Yona government le re nganeletse nix, e ne zama go le tshireletse lo. Our people, ba fana ka di RDP. We know what is an RDP. RDP is not just a reconstructive development program house. No. RDP is a house that is being given to an individual. He will not be able to get a house. But constitution, if an responsibility of government, they must be housed. There has to be settlement. Freedom Charter in 1995, there shall be houses and security and comfort. So we give these people a comfort. They give these things to foreign nationals. No rezoning, no transfer, nothing. Our people, ba lwana ha lona batho le ba lwantsha batho ba bafana wa yema mo he mona ke yeso wa le ba ka o tshisa mo because ke tech shop o thu ngwana go rekile mazimba eng so people they rise. We want to ban this thing. Motho wa yema no ke haka mo. So it's our people. Now that window period ya feta I 1st January, the last one was February 28. It has been closed. There's no window period anymore. Any shop that operates unlawfully, it must be closed. It must be closed. Yes, people to know because we are not doing anything. I think people have a problem. So the problem is so the shop. So we are meeting municipalities very soon, together with Maponisa, the Department of Health, to come up with a clamp down on those tech shops. We are not going to negotiate. But our people will rabatseba. They will have called, hey, Tabang, you have my friend these people. And that's what we always find. And then shop equates and all those things. Let me give you the consequences of all those things. Number one is that we are trying to build that integrated system with this thing. When you have registered a tech shop or a small business, we are linking it now with SASA, which is the social development. We are also linking it with SARS. The unintended consequence is that I want to tell and not in charity, don't do the pension, the 350, it will immediately stop because the system will say, only business here tech shop. That's the first thing. But here is the worst thing now. Taxman, it's not going to charge you the personal income tax, which is more expensive. I'm just thinking about a poor person offering 3,000 once off. How non try for no? How totally mix. But because SARS, the name of the business, it is on their behalf. So you must go and tell them it's going to be very much understatement. But out like the way we look at things, once the system declares the demand. If on a tape, ofane ka yona hore ba etse business ba re ba rekisa maybe bojwala for instance or ba rekisa whatever ntho ba rekisa ra thola ba butsi saloon business ya kwala ba tshwara but the law, the current law area, even the owner of the business will have to account. Akere ke itse lona ha ba how to tshwarwa di shop tse la thiba le shop ya ha etsa ntho tse mpe. Why high can so that's the problem. So key issue the tech shop in short. So registration is still open, but it does not mean you can open a tech shop while you are registering. You have to register first to create it, then we book. Period December until February was that you were able to open a tech shop but apply in the meantime. So this time is different. You have to apply or comply and then open a tech shop. So we are coming for these ones. You know that we'll be accused of xenophobia and what, but at least we have put the laws into place to ensure and to say there too. I'm happy I just saw the mayor of Fezile Dabi and the MM. One of the questions that we have been critical about was the relationship with municipalities. We do have relationship with municipalities. There's also a DDM. But I will refer these things to them by the attendant. But what I can tell you is that there's no event or activity area the Maspala disinformed. Every time our mayor our district, he will even call. Has a phone invitation. Anything we informed. But they will always call. There's this thing, what is happening? Why all this thing? So there has to be that relationship. Sometimes in Thomas Palabar, I don't know about those things because they were not present and all those things. So welcome MM and welcome Executive Mayor. Lifumana mo responding to all. Or Executive Chair the resort in Helbron, I think the colleagues Madonna Kakopale attended Tawatabuntate by Helbroni. They were like specific on what they wanted to do and why. And everyone who wanted to do something today, personally for both. The two so sometimes in the data how about the challenge? Or support is serious here. Management, because in your own words, you said Nanda Temakume restaurant is big. I've got everything. So we're going to exactly do that. But kinana problem big as it may, only the colleagues that I might do sorry. That the Machelacti was Pumla when the Sula come to Salva Margazo with that. One on the issue of management. You know, both non-financials, the financial. But Kiratana the non-financials, Molong out of Fachele, Rufa Felamat, or Osebet in because it looks like you've got the edge to see this thing happening, but Kaikai wa Haelwa, no what unali frigi, Gao what a worker into second and frigi. So that is what I look And on marketing, marketing. Last time I was here, I told people in Karankua, every last Sunday of the month, they've got flea market at Karankua. And that's why we call it Sasolburg. Buy level reka, buy level the DJ dia di lower palamo. It's flea market, so it happens just one Sunday of the month, the last Sunday of the month. But one more copa. Kuli di shop on se ditse ba dia equal automatically ban kan thotsa bona. O se mamhlomi ha o pheya why o lo phela mo. So we must really address into ya location. Lape mona ka bana ke a tseba. Re na le sebaka mane sa ba di bono tshwaretse event teng. Showground. Re na le showground I sa sebetsa. So we can look at those things. We can look at other areas around Mohai where we can place those flea markets. But flea market is important. Express. But now flea market helps you to do that. But the biggest flea market, you even call the banks and everyone on the day of the flea market, on helping people on the basic things, or to some to banking, Baba to say on the flea market. So how can I banking? Or no, it's a flea market. The bank officials are on that side. So yes, I mutona Clintonia bank. Marafi Tosabona on to Rixo di Faham or Rixo in Sobakala Barrek. So Babam by multiply like an event, entertainment, people come by and to in Subukeng it's every Saturday. By the one they target after funerals. Then they go to Mushosho Street. But was so like I don't know what you make was pretty gifty. Like so they target Mushosho Street. You can go Saturday. They don't say anything, but people just come by take says about time. So what then we need to do? The municipalities now, district and local, who lessen ahead the red tapes. How do we apply? If can the department, Madonna, Yarona, DESTEA, can you give licenses? The temporary so you've got that kind of a thing. So flea market, it helps a lot. But it also helps so charity circulate amongst yourselves in an area. ne ke tsa batho ba ngata example mo ke re, go everywhere where Chinese have come and put an investment project or what, they always have a Chinese shop. Ma rona ka bona ka ta bohlale, so ke batla o skima, ke batla o ja sushi, a etsa tsa wena. They don't just want to buy from us, they want money to circulate among themselves, so they put their own products there. In all these shops of India, how can you talk about tweeting? How about you? Kisa kwa nakule shabaka mani. Awado chelte tu anga shopo. Ku anta serexi a time work, but neglect a time. Umufa chelet ayalu. It's how we try shelter. They believe it, they buy on themselves. So flea market will help us to do those things. So people who are involved in such businesses, please take them serious into the flea markets. Other countries, they work. When we were in Singapore, we went to every day, like Booty fell into a soul like this hall. So everywhere they put everything. Every day people, they just walk in there. So it becomes like a tourist attraction, Yana, and all those things. But the nice thing is that research helped them move forward to move. So just think about it. So I agree, not having the flea market, it'll too sour. But the concept document also talks about the market. Access social media platforms, televisions, adverts, companies to access that market. So it's important to relate into it. And it's my dream. And that Mahelo wa itseba rile ga ikala ke se kwa ke ba DESTEA on that mahele mara batho ba a re le ko ba tshetsa motho a ikemela go if ha o batla 50 re 20 re bone o etsa magoza mo ikemela ba site ya batla ha o lo folna batho ba di-tombstone that mahele ke tsapa ntate wa nna mo thusa wa botshabeng and he standing today ha e ka ba batla tšhelete so sa batla etsa ka di mabole jwale mara I know re ntato wa phila ke ne ke tsoga ke ba DESTEA le ntato wa tseba ne ntse ke fela comrade fela nje I just pick up the concept, can we help this one re rona lena ebe project ya rona be legacy ya rona le rona re ile ra thusa motho re se nix but we important hore every business inane ka mkhona nang ka teng hore ha re iketsetseng dintho ka borona at least government ha e tla kapa re ya governmenteng le bona ba bona ha re le fela se re limetse bongata mo re ikaetswa bona ntate wa tšho building ke hae furniture ke hae di fridge ke tsa hae a ntate makume kenya di kgoka fridge ha so if we get those things right we are okay so we will be able to do that so we are agreeing with you and indeed le mama wa tseba mo wa NEF they will definitely need those business lease agreements and proof of payment proof of address ya hore business ya o operate la ka why because a ga tlo ba in a business ya fa batho tšhelete fela re sa tse motho wa kena fela re batla tšhelete ha re tse bodula kae ha ona agreement ona nix it's wrong ona le batho ba ngata ba ileng ba fuwa tšhelete we can't raise them in this day ha ke ta o kena mo kare ha e felle mona ha se ka hlola etsa la ntwe before etsa eng let's le bona re etse due diligence on our side so that is why le bona di tšhelete tsa lona ba ne ba apply di bile slow tse ding di khona di tholang no ka financial yena because I said we can't continue re iketsa for Christmas fela for Christmas o fa sa tse budula ka but government can't operate like that there has to be some stringent measures to include so we have tried that one aus die eketseng inclusion ya community in the document they propose a board and they say 5 of the people who are coming from the board although they say from labor, but that labor also include community. But that is the national one. So in Kwakwa, a meeting like this said that Temakume go and propose what they are doing in province, how I replicate it for both the province and the district, so that it become easier. But what's the decision? You want us to make people to be known in public, but money to choose. I can tell you now, babang hababak. Never tell me to department of but what to call a business town. I don't know what I kill Nalton as a lawyer, ke lebohela le mfile thuso ke sharp. I told them in Kwakwa, it's going to be difficult. Also, the third point is that the human rights tsa batho. You've got the right to privacy. Unless one or another can go out. Go nomsankile ka momanya nomsa. Nomsa, you want people who will come and speak, or the government and saying, Ata Pututa can't speak. Just like that. Not because not because I appreciate Tula Tusu, but she can't speak. So we had to respect her right. We'll try the other next person. So, every conversation yalu. Lona hali tozi o lona tla ona re prepare. Ona le ena ya ntate Sula e kitse ke kopa re ba bitse ba tlo ka dintho ba hana le bona. Ke di assets ke equipment assist. So equipment assist re ne re propose now sphumula itse ba bang ba re next. Ke propose hore at least empe e cover ke taba hore government in na le event. Batho ba ba thusang kaofela ba batleng dipitsa di eng ke re ha batla meeting re ba fetso mara rona re tla invite bontate bongane o thotse ba le gore government ke ena batho ba thotse because ona le ntho ya hore ha re thole nix just because wena wa thola o bo etsa ka retso mara o dutse batho ba thotseng mona ba sha. So we have to refix it go utlula le wena ntate ono butse ka yona potso e jwang. Ntate Bafana, we are agreeing 100% with everything that you have suggested, including the use of the state power to transform the society. It's important. I've already made an example what we can do in Sasol, the banker, and all those things. We will continuously demand on the financial discipline, study business law. We will want audited financial statements, but we must be reasonable. Reasonable in a sense, will you get an audited financial statement from an emerging company now? The answer is going to be no, complete no. But we must help you to start to practice those things, because if you want to grow, give a hand. Yeah, if you want to grow, you must start to practice now for the challenges of future. So those things are audited financial statements, they are important. But for the applications, I think we must be very much kind, take all these considerations, because Bafana arguments is very slightly one fellow. We are starting, but there are those who have already started. Are we going to stop now? The answer is no. You can't stop. But these ones who are coming, you can just, okay, maybe we've got, maybe this thing. Exactly, So it's going to be important. Financial statements, some might not be audited, but banner the audit too. Online application. Actually, we are going to start it here in the department. Let me tell you, problem here, physical application in its own serious negative consequences. Ya pele ke hore ke a bona ko ena Bafana apply. Ntho anya toll gate ntate mo bile ka toll gate. Jwale o tlamehile o patale mona ke toll gate, o patale mona o kena Jozi. So re batla stop ka go bonele online application. Number 2, re batla stop ntho ya malamohudu. Ntho ile go application ena ha ina malamohudu. Kana go bantshitse ID copy or bantshitse proof of address or so bona le ntho ba intshang ka application. So we want to stop those things. So we are going online application. But online application it thusa lona because some of you have to go le Paris le tlamele Bloemfontein le tsam. So you do it untso le mo hae. So it's going to help you a lot, the online application. But it thusa ka hore ha your application does not meet requirements, we must be able to explain according to what you send us. An application now, and whatever, you send like 15 that you how are I to the 14? Computing again a yak, area 15. Why are I to the 16? If closing date is 15. But what we have also proposed is that with online application, we've said the department, because government is in the business of supporting small businesses. We are not in the business ya only punisher. So it's the online application. The department must have a window period, either 7 or 14 days, just checking on compliance. Bao phonela usumamhlomuri ke nnete malana a itseng ha ayo Kenya. Meaning, if you want an application ya how, you should take a copy ya ID. You must be able to call you. This application does not have a copy of an ID, so or send it. The reason is that we want to support you. We don't want to judge any application on the basis of the shortage of other documents. Closing date, then you apply. Or just a human error. I don't know what happened, but those human errors were saying within 7 days the department must be able to get back to you, so that we are able to adjudicate on the content of what you are proposing. Una business ya mtu o tlo hira batho ba 10. Be ra approve business ya mtu o tlo hira batho ba 2. Only because all over 10 o should take an ID copy. So that's the reason why we are trying to do those things. So this thing, your online application, we are going to do it. Unfortunately, there will be centers in the future. Access our online application. That Babi 100% issue of your implementation is problematic. It's problematic in a sense here, either lack of capacity or ho se tsebe dintho tso tlameang re di etse. Ona batho ba ngata ba sa tsebeng tlamehile ba etseng, so ke yone re bakelang mathata eng. Ntate Buti Mkhampane ke dumelana le wena. Sometimes I would go meeting, and that's why it's in Kemi Moki Fergan. I don't want to funding, but one of the in Chedia and the West MEC Guamona, yes, I like Lisa. Terwana Matakwana, Lukuana, Ravera Popo, who puts one lapin, Hantiki, Hoko Kakato, and Tuzi. So then remisa into in the process. But access to funding is important. But what is more important is to get information about how to access those funds. So I think this entire application, I want to extend it to safety those financial. How we go to a workshop, explain about on the access to funding. But this time, the workstations, literally, this is how you apply, this is what you must do. If you talk about the police station, it's a meeting owner. But at least we have been working. So I think it's going to be important issue access to funding. Let there be training before funding. But already training. So they are looking at the funding. They don't want training. But retraining is important. Things like they are changing every day. You can say no, but I can tell you now. Every day. You know, but one number now, the shirt, the one that you talk about, the CSD. But one now, there have been a lot of things that have happened. Corruption. Sometimes we change our system or avoid it because we want to what's about 1, 2, 3, are changing system. Then it has an impact on what you have submitted. So retraining loan, it is a country. You are being retrained to understand that these are the new systems in place, these are the things that we can do, we are not going to do. So, but we must not say stop funding because people are being trained. It rather even go simultaneous. But training is important, colleagues. The ones that are coming, the new ones that are coming, we've said we'll give you a finding on provisory. There are these modules that you attended. So, the party application, I will apply. It's a day or two. Business because re na le experience ya hore tšhelete e ile bathong ya nyamela fela. O na le story se ke buang ke se etsa mona sa batho ba ileng ba fuwa mehlape ntate Mtheko. Batho bana ba keta ho fuwa mehlape, o mong wa bona beke ya pele fela a qala a lora malome, a lora ntate moholo, and ha ntsa lora o tlamehile a hlabe mokete o tlamehile o be teng le mehlape ya wa fela wa hafolela. Ha re bua tjena o queuing ya ho kopa mehlape e meng hape. So it kills business. You can see it's just pure training. And it's just a lot of people. Not about one, la tseba na mona hae. A ke la mtseba lwana na a go lo reka van, a reka BMW. Ra mo praise mo Zamdela ga ha inja e vukile. Ganti inja ja petrol. Gone. Business hae. So ke dithonyana tse ngata tse lo go ntlamele re thibane ka tsona. So training is important. You may say no. Wena wa ona na what's working. I'm running an oiled machine business. I just need money. That thing fella alone, you say to one ka o hloka training. Because on a business, when I business how it's an oil machine, yeah, it's a go batla tšhelete o isa kae. Why is it tšhelete business? So it's important to le tlhokomela le bua le re. So we are going to persuade you, we are going to force some of you ba fitlang, just go the process of training, then be given to a financial assistance. So we are doing with two things. It's non-financial and financial assistance. So I'm going to go ke lukisa ntho tse ntate Derek ya di buileng. Ha re tlo lwanela hore di province di thole ka o lekana e kopa le ba bana beso. Di province di tlo thola ya ka ditekanyetso le ka go thola fela budget. Kwa ba ile ba phagama no I Free State e tle le kana ka re ke le botseng lona ba kwa. Ene sentse ke botsa lona ba mitsi mao. Le ka thaba lona ha le ka fuwa e lekanang le ya ngwathe na ka population ya lona e kgolo e fetang ya mane. Batho ba qoqo ba re ha go no e thabela ntho ka go wa le batla go Free State enke e fetang ya batho ba Gauteng. Le tseba go Gauteng e tshwere le mogwalo wa go batho ba bangata ba Gauteng ba bang ke ba tswang gona mo Free State. So tšhelete ena e fuweng e tlo tswa like the same way o ntshwang equitable share. So ntho tla le re lokisa bontate ke le ka kamareng re ke tse population ya rona ka bontate o le se ya mona re tsebe hore re na ke ola ka a ntse re nana go tla lokisa tse ding di tla loga ka tsela tse ding ma go tla le go lokiseng re lokise le hore province ya rona e be attractful bathong ba ba the same way batho ba yang Gauteng ba galle o tla ka mona. So we must think outside the box about what are the beauties in the Free State, the hidden gems that we can promote. When ensure Free State, it just become a place to go to, not a place to go through. But ba fete fela phuletse ba sa dule mona lapeng. So re batla dintho tse kaofela o tlamele di etsale because rona o tlamele re sebedisane mmoho le lona go lokisa ntho tseo. So ha re kwala ke kopa o le eletsa ke lefa keletso ya bohlokwa hloko a bona ka mora meeting ha ka ba batla ntho itseng ska emisa MEC no mona so ba teng bontate le bomme ba sebetsang ka ntho tseo. Because I'm going to speak to one, speak to the other one. After the next person, or the first person. It's nice to well record, but I always say, talk to the officials. The officials see the own. How was I then Okakopa recourse or MC? Recently, so le fapeng, Harifman recourse. On all the applications, Bola State, sports, social development, direct, the entities. Also approve, also told into was still trying to get a system and that they are all about I said go on alpha paying. Why but was at the application about? Into frustrate about every time or push work MEC then application now I approve it's wrong. The system must just say, okay, application now next financial year, if you not to highly see what about the 1, 2, 3. We have even said, Harihana application now. We must be able to tell you, Rubani Rihana. Uhono looks at because government alone is not going to do it. We are relying on you. How to create them, who want to accept the loan, the SMME. Haratsepela, government to get and to do. I told community of Villia, sorry, I can tell you now, more gaming demo. Not all of you look at more maspaleng. That number is limited. The same year la paying. Hey, 55. You can imagine, I get to Thomas Palaka or the couple 55 maybe thousands of people they just apply for 55. So we are not going to all of us to get there. So we are going to rely on you, Lira Batubana, later Liba Creative, Lona Litebeleta, Liketa Profit Alona, Ikobola into unemployment. But other than that, we will not be able to do it. So how are we going to do it? Is to begin to think outside the box. But let us hold the happy accountable. Ari Kilemo, le bese di poto tse serious, le shape di ntleng tse nepahetseng, ke di ratile tse di buileng kaofela ka jeno. We are going to look at all those tse re nanang hore di bohlokwa haholo re kgone ho matha ka tsona. Tse batlang hore re di phase le rona re thuse ka phase re tla etsa jwalo. But hopolang he, a ke re mo ke discussion ya Free State e etsalang Fezile. Ona le dititsonyo tse ding tse fapaneng le tsa lona from other districts. So ha le sa bona ntho lona e sa hlahelle. Le se ke la lwana because santsane re lo sheba hore ga re ba bua ka yona. Kwae ba bua ka yona, kae ba bua. Then re consolidate re etse A1 e leng ya Free State. Then this is what we are presenting rona to national. So it's not going to be everything re buileng ka yona, but tse di bua ka di funding tse ding. Tsona perfect ke nana go tlamile fela re bue le bomme di lokiswe. Funding ena ha e stope di funding tse ding tse di le teng mmusong. Kutlwe motho mongwe ha at least ena ya hao a se yaka. Ke fund ya government. Ha e stope ya SIDA if ntse thusa, ha e stope ya FDC, ha e stope ya NEF. E ya manfiela fela hodima yona, empa yona e monate ka hore e tshwere mmala wa lona. E tshwere lona ngo ka ha. So ke yona ntho tlameleng re lokise. Ke a leboha.
Thanks, MEC.